Finally, after 5 long years, Mario Odyssey 2 has finally released. Oh shit! Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope is now available on Nintendo Switch. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle was such a pleasant surprise and easily one of my favorite Switch games. You already know that I had to make a video about the sequel, considering that my video ranking all the characters in the first game got 147,000 views? I love you guys. But quick question, why does this video have this many views and I still only have 731 subs? This is the part where I plug myself or something, so yeah, please sub if you enjoyed this vid. Anyway, let's get rolling. Just as a quick notice, I will not be counting sparks or items for this ranking. While I may mention how they can be useful for certain scenarios, this list will specifically focus on each character's strengths and weaknesses without the help of sparks or items. And I will also be ranking the characters based off of their max stats. I know you technically cannot fully max out every character because there aren't enough skill prisms for the skill tree, but just deal with it, bruh. I know that was so cringe, please don't click off. But anyway, I probably should have said this all in the intro, but
no, whatever.
What the shit is that? Mario is a fairly straightforward character. He carries 2 guns called the Dual Slinger and can fire at 2 separate opponents in 1 turn, or he can fire 2 shots at the same enemy. His critical hit rate maxes out at 40%, which is pretty mid. Each shot deals between 445 and 525 damage. However, if the first shot kills an opponent, the power of the second shot will be doubled. Even with that though, his weapon is just okay. It's not bad, but other weapons get the job done much better. However, Mario's other skills are quite impressive. His movement skill is his classic stomp. He can do it up to 3 times, and each stomp deals 405 damage. With this ability, it can be easy to take out 2 targets at once, similar to my sexy gamer skills being shown off right now. Mario can also shoot when in the air, and while this might not seem useful, if you're in a tough situation and you need to get behind a large cover, you can still shoot in the air and then make your way to safety. Shooting in the air also deals 150% damage. Mario's dash attack also deals 405 damage. Mario's technique is a signature hero sight. This lets him fire at an opponent when they're moving. The shots are even multiplied by 155%. He can do this twice, but he also gets an extra shot if one of the shots defeats an opponent. But the best part of this ability is that it has a cooldown of just 1 turn. This means that this ability can be used in every turn, which is just nuts. Mario's biggest weakness though is his low movement, just like in the first game. It's only 13, in which I'll act like I know what that means. In all honesty, it's kind of hard to tell if a character has good movement or not, so I'm just comparing his movement to the other characters. But finally, Mario's health maxes out at 8,540, which is very good. Overall, Mario is a very solid character. While his main weapon is not the best option and his movement is pretty weak, his skills make up for it by far. And when given certain elemental sparks, he can be a very valuable asset to the team. I think he's a solid A tier character. Luigi doesn't dab anymore? F tier, man, get out of here. Nah, in all honesty, Luigi is a really good character. His movement range is 17, and he can even move at a range of 9 after performing a team jump, whereas everyone else can only move at a range of 5 after landing from a team jump. Speaking of team jumping, Luigi can perform too, just like in the first game. He can also dash again after performing a team jump, which is pretty useful considering that he can only dash once per turn. His dash damage is 405, just like Mario. Luigi's weapon is called the Sharpshooter. This is a bow that acts as a sniper. It has incredible range, and the farther the target is away, the more damage will be done. You can reduce the damage drop-off though to 50%. At max range, it will deal 2,002 to 2,221 damage, which is incredible. But if Luigi is higher on the map than the opponent he is aiming at, he will have an 100% chance to land a critical hit, which will multiply his damage by 150%, which in total will deal 3,331 damage. This ability is neat because Luigi's normal critical hit chance is only 20%, which is incredibly low. Luigi's special technique is called Steely Stare, which acts similarly to Mario's Hero Sight. The shots are multiplied by 120% and he can use it 3 times. It also has a low cooldown of 2 turns, but the best part of this move is that it can pass through any obstacle, which makes it absolutely broken, especially from a distance. Luigi's only negative is his low health, which only maxes out at 5,460. While this is horrible, if you're using him strategically, he usually won't be up in an enemy's face, considering that he's the best in the back of the field. I'd recommend using Luigi for boss battles, as he can drain out health quickly, and he is the first S tier of this video. Oh, sorry, I forgot we were transitioning there. Princess Baddie. Princess Peach is a very defensive character. Her movement is 17, and she can dash attack twice, dealing 405 damage just like the Mario Brothers. Her technique is called Team Barrier. This grants all allies in range a shield, blocking all damage and super effects from 4 shots. It has a cooldown of 3 turns. The barrier also causes a small explosion dealing 405 damage after an enemy hits someone with it activated. There are also 2 other ways to activate Team Barrier. The first one is to defeat an opponent as Peach, which grants her 1 charge of Team Barrier. The second way is that when she team jumps off of an ally, she'll grant her ally 1 charge of it as well. Her weapon is called the Boombrella, which is basically a shotgun. It has a really good area of effect range, and it can shoot over your cover, but not over enemy cover. It will damage enemy cover though. It can deal between 949 damage and 1162 damage, and while it is the strongest from up close, you can reduce the damage drop off from a far distance up to 20%, which is much better than its original 60%. Her critical hit rate is only 35%, which is pretty low. Her health maxes out at 7,518, which is okay, nothing special though. However, as I said earlier, Peach is a master of defense, so I can do nothing else but put her in A tier alongside Mario. Rabbid Peach, aka the Queen of Voice Clips, is the game's healer. Her area of movement is 13, which is pretty low unfortunately. She can dash attack 3 times though, each dealing, once again, 405 damage. Her movement ability is Healing Jump. It can restore up to 15% of the HP of allies in range. This may sound low, but even 15% can be helpful. Her weapon is called the Triple Troll. It fires 3 shots vertically, which helps hitting enemies hiding behind cover. However, unlike Mario's Dual Slingers, it can only be aimed at 1 target, which is unfortunate. Personally, I would have preferred it if this weapon was more like Mario's, in which we could fire each shot at different opponents. But it is what it is. At least the critical hit rate is very high, maxing out at a whopping 90%. It's very likely to get a critical hit on every shot. The damage of the 3rd shot is also multiplied by 140%. Each shot does 219 to 375 damage, but the critical damage is 487. And if Rabbid Peach defeats an opponent, she'll recover 20% of her HP, which is a really good skill. And if you couldn't guess it by now, or you just already know, her technique is called Heal. Wow, they're really striving for originality with that one. Nathaniel Bendy, please don't kill me. This heals up to 40% of the HP of all allies within range. It has a cooldown of 2 turns, which isn't bad at all. Her healing effect is 50% more effective on allies who have below 30% HP. Speaking of HP, hers maxes out at 6,146, which is very low. Rabbid Peach is a decent character. Her weapon is slightly underwhelming, but still a solid option. The only complaint I have about her is that there are several other good healing options in the game, such as certain sparks or mushroom items, which makes her main trait kinda obsolete. She's still a decent character, but I have to put her in C tier. By the way, please keep in mind that when I said sparks and items wouldn't interfere with this list, I mean it as in I wouldn't be adding them to power up specific moves. If they present other possible options that outshine other characters, such as in this scenario, they can be counted. As for example, putting the regen spark on Luigi would help save him from dying, causing Rabbid Peach to become useless in this scenario simply because her heal wouldn't be needed. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. Sorry Rabbid Peach, can you please forgive me?
It's been real.
Rabbid Luigi now actually just looks like Rabbid Luigi. Okay, in all honesty, did anyone notice that Rabbid Luigi was just wearing a green robe throughout Kingdom Battle? Because I definitely didn't. Everyone that I have seen talk about this character so far is complaining about how they ruined him, but if I gotta be honest, he's still pretty good. His movement range is 17, and his dash attack does 405 damage. However, he can dash attack twice, and it will apply his special exhaust effect. In fact, his technique is called Exhaust. This weakens all enemies within range by 70%. Enemies with Exhaust applied also can take 30% more damage. This also has a cooldown of 2 turns. His weapon is called the Disruptor. It's a frisbee that can ricochet off one enemy to another. The amount of targets that you can chain attack... I'm sorry y'all, I'm still on my Xenoblade 3 fix. I have a problem. I'll stop with the references to it now, but please for goodness sake play this incredible game. Anyway, the frisbee can ricochet off of 6 targets within range. Each hit does between 555 and 655 damage. The critical hit chance is 60%, which is solid. However, this weapon really shines when applied with spark effects. For example, watch this.
Catch this!
While spark bonuses are not changing my rating of this character, they are certainly helpful. Rabbid Luigi's HP maxes out at 6,832, which is unfortunately not that good. But in total, Rabbid Luigi is not as bad as you most likely think he is. In fact, he's one of my favorite characters in the game to use. But he certainly is not as good as he was in Kingdom Battle, and I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's the best character in Kingdom Battle, and he's the best character in Sparks of Hope. Rabbid Mario just cannot be defeated. He's too strong for his own good. His movement is 19, which is the best in the game. Well, kind of, I'll explain later. He gets 2 dash attacks, but he also gets a unique ability called Area Dash. This allows him to damage close by enemies when he dashes into one of them. And guess what? His dash damage is 545? His weapon is called the Dukes. These are some strong boxing gloves. I mean, my man's about to fight Jake Paul with these. These have a short, yet very wide range. While the critical hit rate is an incredibly low 15%, the damage dealt is between 1,690 and 2,030, as he hits the enemy 5 times with them. And the best part is that he can still move after shooting. His technique is called Counter Blow. This lets him counterattack the enemy after they hit him. It has good range and a nice cooldown of 2 turns. He can do it up to 3 times in 1 turn, and it also returns 50% of the damage received from the attacker to them. His health maxes out at 9,226, which is also the highest in the game. No question Rabbid Mario is the best in the game. Just like in Kingdom Battle, he is a short range master and an HP tank as well. He is easily S tier. Probably the gnarliest Rabbid of them all, Edge is a very cool and fun character. Her movement is only 13, but she can dash attack 4 times, which is the highest amount in the game. But with each dash, her area of movement increases by 3, so technically she can have the highest movement in the game. That's why I said Rabbid Mario kinda has the best movement. Each following dash Edge does also deals 20% more damage. Her weapon is called Flying Blade. It has a critical hit rate chance of 60%, and it deals 285 to 365 damage per hit. This might sound weak, but the blade will hit each opponent at least twice. It can even fly through multiple opponents, so it's a solid area of effect damage option too, and it can damage cover. After the first hit, each hit deals 5% more damage. Edge's technique is called Storm Blade. It acts similarly to Mario's Hero Sight and Luigi's Steely Stare, but there are some key differences. The damage multiplier is 195%, and the range is very short. It has 2 charges, and it can provide 50% damage reduction to any attacks that hit Edge. While the short range may seem negative, this attack is meant for it, because unlike Mario and Luigi's abilities, Edge can hit multiple opponents at once with Stormblade. It's useful for close range combat. Finally, Edge maxes out at 8,540 HP, which is good. Overall, Edge is a really solid option. While her damage output is not the most impressive, her movement and technique certainly make up for it. She goes at the top of B tier. Rabbid Rosalina is another defensive character, but in different ways. She can move 17 meters, and her dash attack is the strongest in the game, maxing out at 869 damage. She can also activate her technique on an enemy when she dashes into them. Her technique is called Anui. This puts enemies within range to sleep for 2 turns, but her dash only applies this for 1 turn. This is super useful. However, it has the longest cooldown in the game, taking up 4 turns to recharge. Enemies asleep also take 30% more damage from any sources. Her weapon is called the Kaboomer. Excellent name aside, this acts like a minigun. It fires 15 shots, each dealing 73 to 151 damage. However, each consecutive hit does 5% more damage. The critical hit chance is 80%. which makes it very likely to get a lot of critical hits. This is a very strong weapon, and it breaks through enemy cover very easily. Her health maxes out at 6,832, which is her only weakness. Besides that, Rabbid Rosalina is a very good character, and she belongs in A tier. Finally,
behold, the king of the Koopas!
Bowser is honestly a mixed bag. He had some solid strengths, but noticeable weaknesses as well. His movement is 13, which is low, and his dash attack is 405, just like almost every other character. His movement ability is called Damage Landing. This creates a field of damage surrounding Bowser after he lands from a team jump. It does 650 damage. His weapon is called the Bowzooka. Another clever name aside, it fires a long-range blast that deals area of effect damage. The damage dealt is between 650 and 730. It also has a low critical hit rate of 20%, but if a critical hit lands, it deals 210% damage. It also completely destroys enemy cover, which is really helpful. His technique is called Rabbid Mecha Koopas. He can spawn 5 Rabbid Mecha Koopas that have the burn super effect. Each one deals 288 to 389 damage. They target and chase enemies and explode when close to one. It has a cooldown of 2 turns. His HP maxes out at 7,518, which is average. In short, Bowser is good at capturing and exposing enemies, as the Rabbid Mecha Koopas can catch enemies off guard, and his weapon can destroy enemy cover. But his damage output, movement, and HP are nothing too major, so I'll put him in B tier. Dang, I just realized that I called Rabbid Luigi good, but he's almost last place. And that's all the characters ranked. In my opinion, the hardest characters to rank were Rabbid Luigi, Edge, and Bowser, all in B tier. This game is really well balanced, even more so than the first game. Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope was a really nice surprise. It twisted up the mechanics introduced in Kingdom Battle, while keeping the magic of it as well. This game is truly a blast, and I cannot wait to see what the DLC has in store. If you enjoyed this video, let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and let me know your opinions on the characters. What, you thought I was gonna say if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe? Come on, I'm not that desperate. Even though I technically already asked y'all to sub the intro, please sub! Also, sorry it took me so long to make this video. The game's been out for almost a month, and I was supposed to make this the week after it came out, but it took me longer than expected to finish the game, and when capturing footage, sometimes it would get deleted or improperly exported. But I'm glad about the way this video turned out, and I hope you are too. Weekly uploads should now be back in progress. Knowing me, I might get lazy and skip a week or two, but I'm going to try to stay as consistent as possible from now on. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I hope we can reach there soon. Thank you all for watching, and as I always say, have a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And also, please enjoy my new outro, because Kevis Battle is such a bumpin' theme!